So welcome to your morning bit of a chill flow. Our last class together, we spoke about coming undone and what it means to unwind from all the things that we are trying to control or perfect. And so today, I wanted to offer you an invitation. Now, instead of to let go, to let in. So you can start by maybe coming back to that practice of coming undone, maybe just leaving some things off of your mat this morning. Things that don't need to be attended to just now, or that you'll have time to give your attention to later. And we know that life is balanced, so in doing so, you're also creating space to receive. And so as you lay here on your back, make sure that your palms face up, so backs of your hands root down. And just energetically sending this signal to whatever it is that you believe in, universe or a higher power, that you are ready to receive. And it might not be perfect, or it might not be fully formulated, but that you are ready to make space in your heart for maybe just whatever you've been craving lately. This is the practice of intention setting. It's not something magical that just happens when we say it to ourselves, but it's more of a promise with ourselves that we're starting to shift. So there might be moments where your intention comes into your practice, and then other moments where it leaves, and that's okay. And just staying open to receiving it all. Everything this morning is an invitation to come home to yourself. Take a deep breath in through your nose, fill all the way up. And then exhale out through your mouth. Come undone. Just let yourself sink in. Full breath in. Start over. And then exhale to release. This time as you inhale, imagine you're breathing in any intention for your practice. So whatever it is you want to cultivate or bring in, taking that with the inhale, and then exhale to just release anything that doesn't serve you, maybe doesn't align with that intention. So simply put, every no is a yes. So everything we're saying no to, we're letting go of, is an opportunity for us to say yes to what we need in that moment. Gently, you can start to wiggle into your fingertips and toes. One of my favorite ways to wake up is just to take a big, juicy stretch into the body. So you can start to reach your arms overhead. Point into your toes as you inhale, reach through your fingers. And then as you exhale, just soften and relax. Let's do that one more time. Big welcoming stretch into your day. And exhale to release. Gently bend into your knees and take your feet up to the sky and start to bring your arms overhead as well. So hands above shoulders, feet above hips. And just circle out your wrists, your ankles. Move in both directions. And then gently bend your knees in towards your chest. Take your hands on top of your shins. And separate your shins to the sides of your rib cage. So you're coming into a modification of happy baby. Let your heels just hang heavy towards the back of your hamstrings. You're always welcome to rock if you're craving a little bit of movement. You feel the softening of your hip creases as you start to allow this lengthening to come into the backs of your legs and inner thighs. So even within the physical practice, as we start to let go of tension in one place, it allows us more depth, more room to just be present. Gently close your knees and place your feet onto your mat. So this is where you're going to need your props, so whether that's a block or a couple of pillows or a bolster. As you press into your feet, pick up your hips and then slide your bolster prop underneath the backs of your hips. And props can always be a little bit tricky to figure exactly where they fit. So once you kind of feel steady with where you've placed it, take your hands onto your belly so that you can feel your hip bones with fingertips and your ribs, maybe with your thumb or heel of your hand. Right? Slight core contraction. This is going to lengthen out your low back. Pull your hips up towards your rib cage. You might even need to slightly walk your shoulders further up your mat, but essentially you're taking a pelvic tilt. Beautiful. You may have to just move your bolster a little further down your back if you're feeling a lot of sensation in your spine, or additionally, you can always take the prop out and just lay flat on your mat. Bring your right knee in towards your chest, and then hands either interlace on top of your right shin or behind your hamstring. Slowly slide your left heel away from your body, extending your leg. It doesn't have to be straight, but you should start to feel a sensation into that front of the left hip. And just go as far as is comfortable. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can always draw your right knee more towards your right shoulder. And then let your breath in. So imagine that your breath could travel to wherever you're feeling tension, especially on the inhale, and it comes in like a warm liquid to melt away that resistance. And then as you exhale, just like a cool breeze, rinsing away whatever perhaps you need to let go of. So there's a welcoming of the inhale, and then a softening with the exhale. If your right knee is off to the side, just bring it overhead. Slide your left heel up again, and then take your right toes up to the sky. Hands now interlace behind your hamstring. You should now feel the sensation switch into the back of your right leg. You can always play with pointing and flexing your right foot and toes. It's going to give you some different sensation into the front of your shin, back of your calf or hamstring. Eventually find stillness and let your body rest heavy. Gently bend back into your right knee and cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh. Now you're welcome to stay here. If you're looking for a little bit more depth, you can always float your left foot off of your mat. With that extra help of the prop, your knees are just gonna tip into your body. So you can take your hands behind your left hamstring or on top of your shin and thread the needle. But you can also just take your arms out to the side and let your prop do the work for you. Especially if you're experiencing any knee sensitivity, make sure that that right foot is always flexed. That's going to support your right knee. You can always just hug your legs in. But really allow yourself this space to be in your body. So instead of kind of residing in a seat within your mind, that you actually just get to be within this incredible vessel that you have been given to experience life, and just starting here by experiencing your own body and all the sensations that come along with that. Now, if you do have your knees hugged in, you can gently release the grip of your hands and float your left foot and then right foot down onto the ground. Adjust your prop as necessary. Sometimes we move a little bit too far down or up it, so you can always pick up your hips and just kind of walk yourself to where you need to be. Whenever you're ready, this time left knee draws into your body and then right heel starts to slide away to a comfortable place. You can always bring more depth by just drawing your left knee to your left shoulder. Allow your mind to wander into wherever you're feeling sensation and just get curious with what that feels like. Maybe the quality of that sensation, the lengthening, the depth, any softness around that opening. If there's anywhere that you can just be a little bit more gentle within the sensation. And maybe even noticing those waves of your breath, that with each breath they're just allowing you more space to be in your body. Gently bring your left knee back over top of your belly. Slide your right heel in so your right foot plants, and extend your left toes up to the sky. Hands interlace anywhere that's comfortable, but you should feel a slight pelvic tilt. So there's less effort for you to bring the leg in, and it almost just kind of floats towards your upper body. If you did so on the other side, play with flexing and pointing into your left foot. Starting to lengthen out the muscles on the front and back lines of your leg. And bend into your left knee for figure 4. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. So a little bit of the softer variations just to stay here, right foot to the earth. You can always float your right foot away and just allow your knees to drop in towards your body. And keep that flexion in your left ankle so your toes are turning up towards your left shin. And then always optional, you can wrap your arms around your legs or like you would in thread the needle. Might feel a little bit more weight into your shoulders. Does this remind you of being rooted, of being connected with the ground. There's no fear of flying away with all of those thoughts and to-do lists, but just simply giving yourself permission to be here and be in your body. Gently float your right foot down to your mat, and then your left foot to follow. Okay. Press into the soles of your feet. Pick your hips up enough that you can slide your prop out, and then slow lower all the way down. Walk your feet wide and drop your knees through center. Take your hands onto your belly. And just feel the expansion and contraction of your breath. One of the hardest lessons, and yet one of the most poignant, is the space between the poses. The space within the poses. So not just about doing the poses, but how do we experience them? And how do we give ourselves some time to just be present? Before we curl up onto hands and knees, perhaps bringing any intention that's popped into your head to mind. Anything that you want to bring into your day or week. Could be one word, a series of words. Don't worry about thinking too hard about it. Just take those first couple of things that come to you. And see if you can embody that in this practice. I'll give you options of how do you want to come to all fours. So you can always separate your knees and then bring them in towards your chest, hands behind your knees. If you're craving a little bit of rocking and rolling, that can always be nice. You can rock and roll up and down the length of your spine. If you have some low back sensitivities, just roll to your favorite side. Take a moment to pause, and then you can press all the way up and meet into tabletop. All right. Keep your big toes together and then walk your knees together. And then set your hips back onto your heels. So you're coming into this seated variation, sitting onto your shins. If this doesn't serve you, you can always take your feet and knees hip width distance and then grab a block to sit back onto. So that's just gonna take some of the pressure out of your knees. You can always sit with legs out in front of you, so yogi's choice. Okay. Take your hands towards your knees. So you're reaching your fingertips and arms long. Okay. And then as you inhale, pull your hands along your thighs towards your hip creases, elbows drop back, and then send your heart forward. As you exhale, curl and round the spine and slide your hands towards your knees. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Okay. Inhale, breath. Slide your hands up your thighs, bend into your elbows, guide your heart out in front. And exhale, contract through the front. Take your nose towards your belly button. And just continue to move with your breath. But also maybe tuning into that extra sensation of what is it to just allow your hands to run along your skin. You might even be feeling some heat between your palms and your upper thighs. This is one of my favorite movements just for grounding into the body. A reminder that this practice isn't done in the confines of our mind or expectations. But this practice is done within our physical body. and anything that comes with that. Okay, so embracing any of those imperfections, any obstacles, but this is our vehicle for our practice. Let's take one more round just like that. And you can slowly come all the way back down with your hands in the middle of your thighs. Okay, if this is feeling like a lot for your knees, just come into a comfortable seat, so whatever that looks like for you. Otherwise, inhale, breath, reach your arms all the way up, big full body stretch. And then exhale, take your left fingertips down beside you and reach your right fingertips over. You can bend into that left elbow if you'd like. Inhale, breath, lift all the way back up through center. And exhale, take your right hand down, left fingertips over. Let's take two more to each side. So just flowing, almost like a tree in the breeze. Succumbing to the direction of the wind, but also really rooted through your shins and the tops of your feet. So one more over to each side. Come all the way up through center, then twist over to your left. So take your right hand onto your left thigh, left fingertips back. Okay, if you're in seated, it'll be the same. You just might have crossed legs. So whatever is working for your body today. And then you're welcome to drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Sometimes it can be nice to add in some movement. So you can always nuzzle your chin towards your chest or reach your chin up towards the ceiling. If you find somewhere that feels comfortable to stay, feels like you just need a little bit more attention to that spot, just pause. Then bring your chin all the way back up through center. Inhale, unwind. And exhale, twist to the other side. So it might be a little bit sticky those first few breaths. Okay, knowing with each exhale, you can always twist a little bit more if you'd like. And if you did so on the other side, it felt nourishing, take your right ear to your right shoulder. Chin can tilt up, or you can tilt your chin down. You can always just kind of nestle your chin in towards your chest a couple of times. So I'll leave that up to each of you. And slowly lift your ear away from your shoulder. Inhale, breath, reach all the way up to unwind. And then exhale, slide your hands forward. Okay, you can separate your knees so they're about hip width distance. You're meeting back into tabletop. Okay, tuck your right toes under and then slide your right heel back. So that should feel really nice along the back of the knee, maybe even the ankle. And just rock forward and back a couple of times. So bringing a little bit more weight into the wrist, but mostly finding that release for the back of the leg. All right. Pause when you come back through center. Tuck your left toes under, modified down dog. Pick up your hips and keep that left knee bent, and then really drive your right heel towards the earth. And soften through your shoulders, let your head hang heavy, back of your neck is long. And then gently release back down to where you started. So left knee to the earth, the right toes connected. On your inhale, open up modified side plank. So you're gonna turn and pivot to the right, and then sweep your right fingertip back and up, and then all the way over to the front. If this feels like a lot for your left wrist, you can always reset, just move that left wrist a little bit further forward. So it's not necessarily under the shoulder, that takes some of the pressure off. Okay, squeeze into your glutes, send your hips ahead of you. And let's circle the arm 2 more times. So sweep your right fingertips down to the ground, So you inhale, reach your arm up and over, maybe even slightly back. And then exhale to sweep down, reach all the way up. Okay. And then slowly make your way into your seat for a half butterfly. Okay. So your left foot is gonna nestle into the inner right thigh. Turn and square your shoulders towards your right leg as you inhale, reach your fingertips all the way up. As you exhale, hinge at your hips and start to fold. We're gonna do that a couple more times, just in little half lifts. So as you inhale, peel away from your leg, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold, belly, then heart, then head. Inhale, breath to lengthen, and exhale to fold. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, breath to lengthen, and exhale to let that go. Walk your hands back up and towards your body. Press into your left hand, come back into your modified plank, and sweep your right fingertips over. Okay. And then as you exhale, release your right hand down and meet into tabletop. Okay. Walk your fingertips out in front of you and lower down onto forearms for melting heart. Forehead roots to your mat, hips stay about over your knees, but if you need a little less sensation, you can always take them closer towards your heels. Okay. If you want to get more into the upper arms and biceps, instead of hands out in front, you can take your palms together in a prayer and just float your hands over top of your head so that your thumbs land to the nape of your neck. Allow yourself the space to just breathe wherever you are and to sit with these sensations of your body. Instead of just trying to let go of everything, can you allow these sensations in? Let in what it feels like to be here in this space. Gently walk your fingertips back in towards your body, meaning into tabletop. Tuck your left toes under, slide your left heel back, and then just start that gentle rocking motion. You might even notice that you rock along to the rhythm of your breath. And don't be afraid to take your attention elsewhere, like into your fingertips, your wrists, your shoulders. Really just moving with your body this morning. Next time that you move through center, you'll tuck your right toes under, modified down dog, pick up your hips, and using that deep bend into your right knee, pull your right knee towards your right wrist, and then drive through your left heel. Okay, so nothing's actually gonna move, but it's more of that energetic motion of the body. So everything's going to stay rooted, but that there's a couple of different forces happening to create depth and space. And gently lower all the way back down, right knee to the earth. Turn and pivot open to the left this time, modified plank. Knowing you can always walk your right fingertips out further. Sweep your left hand over to the top of your mat. So you're taking a big long stretch through the side body. Squeeze your glutes. That's going to open up the hips. And then let's take 2 more circles of your arm. So sweep your left fingertips down and back. Inhale, reach over. And then exhale, sweep down and back. And inhale to reach all the way up. Use your exhale breath to lower yourself all the way down onto your seat. Okay, sole of your right foot this time to the inside of your left leg. Square your shoulders. So you inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Think about finding a tall spine. So you exhale, just start to hinge and fold. Okay. 3 breaths. So imagine your body is a wave. As you inhale, gently rising up. As you exhale, fold, belly, then heart, then head. 2 more, just follow your breath with the movement. Once you've completed that last breath, walk your fingertips back up in towards your body. Plant your right hand beside your right hip. Lift up into your modified plank, reach over. And then as you exhale, take your left hand down and meet into tabletop. All right, from tabletop, you can walk your hands one handprint ahead if you'd like. Sit your hips back to your heels for a moment. So you're coming into a child's pose. You might need to adjust the hands slightly. Your knees can be hip width, together, wide, doesn't matter. You'll kind of figure it out as you move through this. Use your inhale breath to come forward to your cobra. So ripple through the spine. Think about rounding like you're coming into cat, and then start to drop your hips and then belly heavy. Okay, soft bend into your elbows if that feels like a lot to have arms straight. That's totally fine. Then press into your hands, curl and round back through your spine. Set your hips towards your heels. And just move between these two poses. So child's pose and a cobra, but really making sure you're undulating through the spine. So you're getting that beautiful arc and then beautiful rounding. Follow your breath. So your full inhale will pull you forward into this opening of the chest, and your full exhale will just bring you back home to yourself in child's pose. Let's take one more round of breath and movement. At this time, when you go to pull forward, meet into a modified plank instead. So you're going to keep that tall spine, lower down onto your forearms, and then let your hips sink towards the earth, untuck your toes. So you're coming into Sphinx Pose. If this feels like too much, with elbows underneath shoulders, just walk your fingertips slightly forward and you'll let your belly rest heavy. All right. As you inhale, press into your hands. Just start to lift your heart forward. You might feel a slight lift away from the earth. As you exhale, soften. Let yourself sink towards your mat. Two more just like that. Option as you inhale, you can always lift the elbows up into seal. And then exhale, just soften down towards Sphinx. All right, last one. Okay. Walk your elbows out wide, catch either of your cheeks or forehead and come all the way down. Slide your right knee out to the side for sleeping frog or half frog. This is a release for the low back, which sometimes can get a little bit sticky in those heart openers. So allow this pause to come back to your body, to just let yourself in again. Maybe reset if you've been living in your thoughts lately. Just notice what it feels like to kind of take some chill movement, to just rest. And gently you'll slide your right toes down. If you have one cheek to your mat, you can just switch to the other and take your left knee out to the side. Take a couple of deep breaths, allowing your body to rest heavy. And gently release your left toes down to meet your right. We're going to stay on our belly for just a little bit longer. So you'll cactus your arms. And then bring your left cheek to your mat. This can be nice if you have those pillows available, to bring the pillow underneath your left cheek. I'm showing you with a block, but I definitely suggest a pillow over a block. Okay. With your left arm cactus, so your elbow lines up with your shoulder and fingertips point forward. Plant your right hand into the ground and then just start to roll towards your left hip. And so you're stacking your right side body over the left. Find a comfortable place for the legs. So you might crisscross like I am, or you can bend your knees and stack your hips. Okay. Maybe you plant your right foot. So there's no right or wrong, but just make sure that your head is supported and your body is heavy. Okay, that you're not lifting yourself away from the earth, but you're actually allowing yourself to sink in. And then take 3 deep breaths all the way into those sticky spots. Maybe gathering what you need on that inhale, calling in your intention, and then just softening and letting go with the exhale. On your next exhale breath, you can gently roll all the way back through center. Take your hands underneath your chin or cheeks and pick up your feet, bending into your knees. So heels up towards the sky. Just gently wash your feet side to side, left and right. And rinsing out maybe any tension that's still residually sitting within your low back. And whenever you're ready, release tops of your feet down. Cactus your right arm out to the side. Plant into your left hand and just roll over towards your right hip. Find whatever depth allows you to want to stay in your body. And so sometimes we let our expectations of what yoga has to look like win. And then we're so focused on this outward appearance of the pose that we forget to actually experience it. So see if you can even experience a little bit of peace here. So you let go of that expectation, just allowing yourself to feel nourished and comfortable within your own body. Even if that means that this looks a little bit different this morning. Gently roll all the way back onto your belly. Press your hands underneath your shoulders. Then peel away from your mat and meet into your child's pose. So knees wide, big toes to touch. It's going to be a little bit different in child's pose if you take this option to thread your left arm underneath your body and then just take your left cheek either to the ground or you can always grab a pillow. So soft through that right arm, it can even be bent. You're just creating some space in the top of your left trapezius and shoulder. Those are the muscles, as well as the levator, that kind of hike your shoulders up to your ears and cause a lot of tension there. Maybe even let your body rest heavier. And gently unwind and let's find the other side. Okay, if you're just in center, you'll stay as you are. Otherwise, switching sides to bring in some balance. Bring your awareness back to your body and simply breathe. Maybe even soften your right shoulder away from your ear, lengthening out the side of your neck. Gently unwind your right arm from underneath. You can reach your fingertips out for one more big breath in child's pose. And then let's meet into our first downward facing dog of practice. So you're going to tuck your toes, lift your hips up high. And just notice how that feels for the back body. You might even pedal out your feet, similar to those modified down dogs we took earlier. You can also just land in stillness and play with melting your heels towards the ground and tilting your tailbone up towards the sky. Make sure that your feet are at least hip width distance. You can always take them a little bit wider if you'd like. Soft bend into your knees. Walk your hands all the way towards your toes. Pick up your heels to turn your heels in. Turn your toes out and then sink your hips down for Yogi Squat. Now this isn't always accessible for your hips, so if this isn't feeling great, you can always take forearms onto thighs, or you can sit onto a block or a stack of pillows. Okay. One of my favorite variations of this, if you want to just kind of get curious with me, you can walk your fingertips out and just fold. So you're letting your head hang heavy, chin tucks in towards your chest. If that's not feeling good for your spine, you can always keep a neutral spine, hands to heart, kind of more of that traditional yogi squat. Either way, allow your hips to draw heavy towards the earth, and there should be some decompression happening within your spine. A little bit of that lengthening sensation. And just breathe into wherever feels tight. So imagining you're sending that warming inhale so that you can rinse away the tension with your exhale. All right. If you folded, walk yourself back up, planting your hands. If hands aren't heart center, take fingertips to the earth. Send your hips up to the sky and then turn your toes to face forward so feet are parallel. Soft bend into your knees. Dangling pose, you can reach for opposite elbows and just gently sway side to side. I like to think of this pose in particular just as a space to let go. So maybe anything heavy you've been carrying on your shoulders lately, just allowing it to roll off of your spine, drip away from your shoulders. Maybe even noticing the freedom that this gives you. And to let go so that you have room to receive whatever your intention is that you set for your practice. If you're still feeling some tension in head, neck, and shoulders, you can always shake your head yes or no. Last couple of breaths. Gently, you can release your fingertips towards the earth. Okay, walk your hands all the way forward, meet back into your downward facing dog. A couple of options if half pigeon isn't necessarily your friend this morning, so I will go through half pigeon first and then offer you the other options. So walk your big toes together. As you inhale, take your right heel high and bend into your right knee and just start to stack your hips. So right hip's gonna stack over top of your left. Additionally, you can always do this with your left knee down from a tabletop. Okay? As you exhale, take your right knee behind your right wrist, right ankle over to the left side of your mat, and then just lower your shin down. Let your back knee come towards the earth. Okay. Walk your hands up towards your hips so you play with stacking shoulders over top of your hips. And you're welcome to stay upright as long as you'd like, or when you're ready, you can start to fold. If half pigeon is just not sitting well in your body today, I always like deer. So sit over onto that right hip and then bring your left knee off to the side. So it's gonna look a little bit more like this. And in both of those poses, you can play with folding forward, draping over your front shin. If there's a different hips opener that you're craving today, you always have permission to just take that. Okay? So this is your practice. Let in the sensations, the poses that you need. If possible, try to support the weight of your forehead, whether that's on hands or a prop, so that you can relax into the back of the head and neck. And just embrace this extra little bit of space that you are being given to simply be. And that's not as easy as it sounds. So if that struggle to just hold this container of space at this moment feels tough, just take it breath by breath. You are a work of art in progress. So let go of the expectation of how this will all finish up, and instead just take another breath and see where that takes you. Gently walk your hands back in towards your body. I like to come back to down dog, but if you prefer child's pose or tabletop, you're welcome to transition, whatever feels best. If you're transitioning to down dog, step your right foot towards the back of your mat. Maybe you pedal out your feet, or you lift up one leg at a time. Any movement that feels nourishing. Whenever you're ready, you'll find the other side. So left toes pick up and take that deep bend into your left knee to open up your hip. And then when you exhale, left knee slides behind your left wrist, left ankle to the right side of your mat. Untuck your back toes and just play with walking upright for a moment. You want to avoid any pain into that front knee. So if you have pain, play with deer pose, weight fully in your left hip, right knee bends off to the side. Whenever you're ready, you're welcome to start to play with hinging or folding forward, knowing that you'll be here for a few extra breaths, that there's no rush to get anywhere. Whether that's something that eases your worries or not, that there's no rush in this pose, especially if this is a challenging pose. If you feel that, maybe tightness when I said that, is just come out of it a little bit. Okay, so come out of some of the depth, add in pillows anywhere that you feel like you're not supported, and see if you can soften into those places. So just letting go a bit of that fight or flight energy so that your body sends you signals it's okay to just be. Last couple of breaths on this side. Maybe you find somewhere to let go, carve out some space to let in. And this time, instead of stepping back to down dog, just unfolding your body, walk your hands up towards your front shin, and then sit over to your left hip, and you can scoop your right knee around and in front. Okay. Extend your legs long. Let's take one more fold before we close off. So as you inhale, reach all the way up, big full body stretch. And then as you exhale, let's hinge at the hips, fold over top of your thighs. If it feels better to create a neutral spine, you can always take that, or round the spine, let your head hang heavy. And one vertebra at a time. Walk your hands in towards your hips and stack your spine. Okay. Once you come up to a neutral spine, you can bend your knees. You might want to shift your hips more into the middle of your mat and then lower all the way down. Okay. Bring your knees into your chest once you come onto your back, and just gentle rock side to side. Once you've landed here, okay, We're going to come into a couple of twists, so you can release the soles of your feet down. If there's a certain variation of twist you're craving, you're welcome to take that today. Otherwise, bring your arms wide. Just shift your hips over to the left, so you might pick them up or slide them over. Hug your knees into your chest and allow your knees to just drop over to the right. Now, with that being said, if you have some gaps between your thighs or underneath your right leg, you can always just slide a pillow in there, okay, so that your body has something to rest on. As long as both shoulder blades are rooted down, you're exactly where you need to be. Arms can take any shape. This is the unwinding before Shavasana, to just let go. Okay, so the whole practice is kind of an unwinding so that we can receive in that final pose of Shavasana and perhaps some of the other poses in between. Gently come all the way back up through center. You can shift your hips into the middle of your mat. And maybe wash your knees left and right, or take your knees to your chest. So yogi's choice. And when you're ready, hips will move over to the right and knees drop off to the left. I know when I first started practicing yoga, so much of it was about perfecting the poses and, getting through a sequence, just getting to child's pose, getting to Shavasana. And it's almost this attitude that despite this being a mindful practice, that we start to kind of fly past those mindfulness moments. So can you send yourself some recognition today of all those moments you took where you just allowed yourself to be in your body rather than trying to get somewhere? Gently unwind back through center. I invite you to take any movement that you're craving before final Shavasana. So that could be that washing of the knees, happy baby, or knees to chest. Big long stretch out. So think about this as the most nourishing way that you can move into stillness. And if Shavasana on your back is uncomfortable for you, you can always take it in fetal on your side, or you could always come up to a seat as well. Okay, so I'll leave that up to each of you to just determine what is right for your body. So this practice isn't always easy, and it sometimes challenges us to be really patient with ourselves. And this morning was a little bit slower. And so for some of us, that's going to be like a dream. And for some of us, it's a little bit more challenging. So just honoring wherever you're at, and maybe just honoring what, where your body feels comfortable. And that sometimes in those uncomfortable moments, it's actually what we mostly need. Because we're avoiding it so much, it feels uncomfortable. As you settle into this shape, just allowing yourself to completely let go. Let the earth carry you, support you, so that you don't have to do the effort. Beauty can be found in these moments where we completely come undone, because we offer ourselves a rebirth, an unearthing, both a letting go and a letting in. So where everything that you've been carrying or holding so tightly, it just gets scattered across the floor at your feet. So it is here in this stillness, this pause where you just get to sift through what's real, what's important to you, and not only what you're being asked to leave behind, but also what you're being asked to move forward with. So to take that intention with you and not just leave it on the mat, but really bring it with you into your day. So it's here that we can emerge into a being that is stronger, softer, more loving, and more graceful. Everything is an invitation if we're willing to lean in closer. They're all just simply doorways. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill all the way up. And exhale, drop. Let that go. Now you're welcome to close off on your back and just simply gather hands over heart. Or if you want to close in seated, use these next few moments just to gently wake up your body. And eventually land yourself on your seat with hands at heart center. So there's no rush. Let's not abandon everything that we've done up until now, but really using this to transition beautifully into the rest of your day. So much love. Thank you for moving through this slowly with me and from the bottom of my heart. Namaste.